Hi everybody. So today's video is going to be about some family issues that I have dealt with pretty much my entire life. I'm going to try to give you some backstory and so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from and the environment that I was raised in or lack thereof. And I will try not to make it too long. But I'm only telling this because I refuse to go to a therapist and give somebody my money because a therapist needs a therapist as well. So I'm not going to go to a therapist. I've been doing a lot of self-help, a lot of self-love, self-reflection, just working on myself for quite some time now. And it's been very hard and hasn't been pretty. And I've lost quite a few people along the way because I realized what boundaries I need to set up for myself and what it is I really want in my life and who I want to surround myself around and who inspires me to be a better person every day and so on and so forth. I'm just trying to keep and bring nothing but positivity into my life because I have felt like a cloud has followed me for quite some time. And I'm going to dip into that very soon. So, I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Um, I guess you could technically say that I come from a broken home in a sense. My parents only lasted the first 2 years of my life. I guess when I was two, they split up, and I think by the time I was four, it was official because my dad had already married somebody, and there was a kid on the way, which is my half little sister, Melissa. That's another story in itself. So, from the age of two until now, I haven't had my own mom in my life. I haven't had somebody to look up to be like, oh, that's where I get my looks from, and that's where my traits come from, and that's where everything comes from. I grew up with the curiosity of wanting to know who my mom was and wishing I could live with her and be with her because after all that was my mom, and even at a young age I knew it was something that I was missing because my stepmom wasn't my mom. When you're a child, you are a sponge and you remember things and you see everything and you pick it all up, and even though I thought I suppressed a lot of stuff, memories have been flowing in like a time bomb from the 1980s. Like, it's insane. And it almost messed with my mental state because I didn't know how to deal with a lot of things on my own. My dad passed away 8 years ago, so he was my go-to person if I ever wanted the truth. And my dad was never afraid to give me the truth because he knew I could handle it. Anytime I had a question about anything, no matter how hard the topic was, whether it was the divorce of my parents and why they divorced or how they met or anything like that, he gave it to me straight. And my dad, he was my best friend, and I miss him to this day. So if you're watching, Dad, up there somewhere, I love the shit out of you and I miss you. So back to what I was saying. So you're a sponge as a child. You see everything. And I remember a fight my parents had when I was younger because my older sister was with us at the time. And of course, because we share the same mom, we had a lemonade stand or a Kool-Aid stand, and we lived in the part of Castro Valley on Strobridge before they kicked everybody out they were going to put in the 238 project or something like that. And so they kicked everybody else out of the neighborhood, and that never happened, and they built up the neighborhood. But either way, that's the neighborhood we used to live in. And so we had this huge dirt lot. It seemed huge to me because I was this tiny little kid. Huge dirt lot in front of the house that led to the street, and that's where the lemonade stand was. And I remember my older sister being upset with me for some reason. I don't think she ever liked me because we didn't really like, we grew up together the first 2 years of my life, for what I can remember and what I can see from pictures. But I don't think she really liked me because I think there's some accusations against my father from her, and was completely blown out of context because my mom was a drama queen at the time. And yeah, so I think she held some resentment towards my father, which then led to me, which is completely understandable. I mean, I am the child of the person who she accuses of hitting her in the face. Well, if you're a bad kid and you act out and you're about to get hit and you run, accidents happen. And so I'm not saying he didn't do it, he did do it. I'm not saying she got punched in the eye or she didn't get punched in the eye. I don't know. I wasn't there. Honestly, I don't care because it's not my issue. And to hold resentment towards me for that instead of talking to me and discussing it with me, it's unnecessary. But I guess I can kind of understand. So back to the story. Sister got upset with me, spilled Kool-Aid all over me, and I ran in the house crying. And when I ran into the house, I noticed that there was bird feathers everywhere and my parents were screaming. Why were there bird feathers everywhere? My parents were into exotic birds at the time, and I can't remember what type of birds they were, but they were black feathers. That's the only thing I can remember because they were falling everywhere in the living room, and there was just screams everywhere from my mom and my dad, and it was insane. And that's all I remember of that fight. Apparently that fight happened when I was around 2 years old. Maybe even before that. Because shortly after that, they did get divorced. And the reason why I'm going to tell you in a second. But like I said, yeah, kids are sponges. So I remember that. I remembered bits and pieces growing up through my life, but the whole story didn't come to light until my 30s. So I guess what advice I can give from that is don't fight around your kids. Just absolutely do not fight around your kids, because I honestly feel that me hearing the fights and the yelling is how I learned how to communicate when I was angry as I got older. And I'll get into that later. There's a lot of little topics to get into here, and I'm already on 8 minutes of this video. So, I don't even know who's hanging in there at the moment. But yeah, so there's that. My parents divorced at about 2-ish, maybe somewhere after that, I don't know. Apparently my dad went and found his high school sweetheart by the name of Joanne. I don't think that was the case, to be honest, because of the story I'm about to tell you. They got married, and in 1984 had my half-sister Melissa. So, story I'm about to tell you. Excuse me. My mom caught my dad and my stepmom in bed, in my mom's bed, in my parents' house, sleeping together. That's pretty much how and why my parents split up. But the stepmom won't cop to it to this day, because that's the type of person she is. Even though me and my mom don't talk, which is another story. These are all just going to be different videos probably. Even though me and my mom don't talk, she has never left out any detail of that story to make me disbelieve her. It's always been the same exact story over and over and over for years, any time that I've asked. And so I'm guessing that when I originally found that out, and I think I was about 13, I don't know, I was young. I think when I found that out is when I started holding resentment towards my stepmom and my little sister. Because deep down in my heart, I knew and felt that Joanne ruined my family. Even though my mom and dad had their own issues, and honestly, I don't think they were two people that were meant to be together, because my dad's awesome and my mom is all over the place. It doesn't matter. She broke up a family and then created her own and expected me to just be like, yay, and I don't have a mom, you're my mom now, and this is my sister, and I'm just gonna love everything about this. No. When you're a kid, like I said, you're a sponge. You see everything, you read everything. Like you just know what is going on. You might be naive to a lot of things, but you're not stupid to common sense and the shit going around in front of you. So that's that. That's how my life started out. My mom, God, the biggest person that she ever could have been at that time, allowed my dad and my stepmom to stay in that house because they didn't have anywhere to go. And this was during them trying to get a divorce. Talk about having the bigger balls in the situation. Like, I'd be like, no, y'all need to go dig your own graves, bury that dirt over yourselves, and rot for the rest of your life. That's me. Or, no, that's me. But whatever. She actually let them stay with her. And then she tried to help my dad find an apartment. And I don't think he found the apartment. I have never seen pictures of us being in that apartment. I've only found pictures of us staying at a hotel. And this hotel is still standing to this very day in, I guess you would call it Hayward on East 14th Street. It's in between Mission and right before the Big Lots and the 99-cent store. And every time I pass by it, the memories flood in, and I can see the room that we used to stay in, and I remember a lot of things that happened at that place. Nothing bad, but I mean, that was our place of living. And I even had a friend at that time that was staying in a hotel room next to us, and I have a picture of her, and I don't remember her name for the life of me, but I'm gonna have to post that picture because maybe somebody knows her, and maybe, who knows, with all the social media going on, maybe we'll make some sort of a connection if that were ever possible, but I don't know, and I just don't know. But yeah, so we lived in a hotel up until I was about, I don't know, my little sister wasn't born yet, so I want to say I had to have been at least 3, because she was born in January 1984, so I want to say that I was at least 3 when we were living in this hotel. So that is pretty much what had happened at the beginning of my life, to start things out, to what I was told and what I can remember. And I guess that's just me just setting the scene right now. And so I'm going to try to create a video after this to continue on with the timeline. And honestly, this helps me get things out because, like I said, I'm not going to see a therapist. And the fact that I'm getting this out and I'm speaking my truth and it's out here, you can't tell me it's not true. And you can't tell me that my feelings are invalid. And you can't tell me that, you just can't tell me anything negative about this because this is what happened. This is my life. This is my truth. This is me telling the truth. And if you don't believe me, then there's something wrong with you, and I can't force you to believe me. But there's this saying that I have anytime somebody doesn't believe me, and that is, when you die, God is going to open up a book of your life. He's going to show you the days that I'm talking about, and you're going to see that I am telling the truth. And I will forever say that for the rest of my life, because I'm not a liar. I've always been 100% real. I will always be 100% real. Sometimes I'm raw as fuck. Sometimes I'm too raw for people. I don't care. That's who I am. I'm an expressive person, whether it's on my face or coming out of my mouth. And I only say and do these things when somebody is doing or saying something to me. I'm not the person that is just going to wake up one day and say, hey, whose life can I fuck up? That's not who I am. I am a reactive person, but I'm learning to work on that. Because as I mentioned previously in this video, I learned my bad communication skills at a very early age. And I'm going to discuss in further videos how I have fixed that. For now, that is it. I thank you for watching and sticking around for this 15 minutes and some odd seconds. And feel free to drop some comments below and say how you feel or whatever it is. I'm open to it. I'm doing this for a reason, and it's because I want the truth out there. I want to feel better about myself. I don't want these things clouding my brain capacity anymore. And I know that there's other people out there who have gone through the similar situations, and maybe it'll help you. Maybe we could help each other. I don't know. All I know is that this is just a start to me feeling better about the situations that happened in my life, so I can just forgive, forget, and move on. Okay, peace. Have a great day.